What's going on, YouTube? You tuned in to Tactical Skill in Their Defense. It is your favorite gun on the checking in, Jay Skilly. May God bless you. Continue to take care of one another and continue to get to know the gun laws in your state and surrounding states when traveling. Of course, today is Daddy's Gun Talk. Hollow points to my children. Of course, I do this every other 4th and 14th. So today is the 14th, represents my son's birthday, which is September the 14th. And so next month, it'll be the 4th, will represent my daughter being born on June 4th. So just to represent my son, my children, period. But 14th is his day. So we going to do it on the 14th, like I said. I'm going to try to do these, man, all year long. I got it on my calendar. I just looked at my calendar and realized that I needed to get it done today. And so today, we're going to talk about accountability, man. For some reason, accountability is not taught uh, a lot these days. Um, I teach my children. I mean, no matter what I teach my children, they're going to do what they want to do. But at the end of the day, it's my job as a father to let them know, man, when you do something, be accountable for what you do and stand 10 toes down. Um, in whatever decision that you make, just make sure you're making a sober decision. That means no drinking, no smoking. Make sure you have a clear mind. Make sure you're not angry, frustrated, um, because that's a factor in your clear thinking and being accountable whatever decision that you decide to make. Um, and to my dad, who has always taught me accountability, and so shout out to my old man for always teaching me. Um, be accountable for what you do and be a man and stand on it. And so I try to make the right decisions, knowing that I'm going to be accountable for whatever decision I make, whether that's in the household that I'm in charge of, or on my job when I'm at work, or when I'm out and about with friends and family. Accountability, man. If you're not going to be accountable for what you do, then I don't need to be around you. Because, I mean, you don't have, to me, that means, and I said this before, um, be around people that got as much as to lose. So, for example, I'm a homeowner. So, somebody that stay at home with their mama ain't got much to lose like I do. I have a home to lose. I have uh, a wife and two children that could be put out on the street because of me not being accountable for what I do out here when I'm out and about. So that makes a hell of a difference when you're dealing with people. And like I tell my children, all ties to the people that you decide to call your friends. And so accountability is a big part, and it's going to be a big part of y'all guys' life when you're growing up. And I've always taught that to you guys. Be accountable for whatever you do, but don't be accountable for what others do. Understand what I'm saying, son and daughter? Be accountable for what you do, but don't be accountable for what somebody else is doing. I'm not getting locked up because you decide that you didn't want to be accountable for what you're doing. Now, if we're in a situation where we have to defend ourselves, then that's something different. Um, but just not being accountable and just going out here starting stuff, starting fights, beating up on people, shooting people, and being real reckless because you don't believe in accountability, I can't be a part of that because I have too much to lose. And I'm not willing to lose it on a fool's decision. They don't believe that, and always have believed that it's always somebody else's fault because of the position they've been put in. Sometimes it's your decision making that put you in that position. Not thinking and not being accountable and not realizing what your action could bring after you have done that act. So, man, it's really important to be accountable to whatever you put your hands on or whatever you do or whatever you decide to do. But make sure you're clear headed. Make sure you're not, no distractions is going to make you make the wrong decision. Because there is a consequence after every action. And so that consequence could be prison time, in the grave, uh, living on the streets, uh, losing everything that you work hard for, a number of things, because you don't believe in being accountable for your own actions. And so, to my children, once again, know who you're around, study people. I'm always a creature of studying people's habits. And I'm reading Atomic Habits right now, which has pretty much been a good book. I read the first chapter yesterday. And it was talking about how to build bad habits, using bad, dealing with your bad habits to make good habits. So it's turning your bad habits into good habits. And it's been a pretty interesting book so far. The first chapter I read yesterday, I'm going to read the second chapter today. But it's really opening up my eyes to, and one of the points that he made was people make goals. But with that goal, um, you have to be focused on the system. And the system will help you achieve your goal, which I thought was very interesting. That pretty much telling you, it's pretty much saying, however you go about it will ultimately help you achieve your goal. That's like, of course, everybody wants to win the championship in the NBA, in MBL, and in the NFL and the NHL. But it's the system that will ultimately get you to your goal. And so I thought that was very interesting. I never looked at my situations like that. And so, with my children, man, don't be focused on the goal. Of course, make goals. Goals is always something beautiful. My goal is to get into the sheriff department. But the system and how I get there is what I need to be most focused on to be able to achieve that goal. And so, and it comes with being accountable. You got to be accountable for whatever you do in this world, and understand that there's always going to be a consequence behind your decision making, and you got to be able to understand that accountability is a big thing when it comes to the consequences that you face here in life. And so, to the world and to my babies, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not trying to be funny. I believe I have some good children, but I'm gonna be the first to tell you that I don't know what they do outside my presence. And I'm not gonna say they're not capable of doing things that I would think they wouldn't. I wouldn't think they'd be imagine. I couldn't imagine them doing. But at the same time, I understand that they have their own mind. They're gonna make their own decisions. Uh, would I support them behind decisions that they make? Absolutely, because at the end of the day, they're my children. But they also understand that accountability is a big thing when you're dealing with the real world. And so I'm going to support you. Um, but you're going to know that, hey, if you did it and you got to go serve that time in that cage, I'm going to support you regardless, but accountability. That's why being a gun owner and being a level headed gun owner is very important uh, in owning firearms, because a lot of people are going to piss you off, but do I pull out a firearm just to prove a point or just to scare someone? No, it's accountability. And so all this wraps into being a gun owner, being a father, and also teach my children um, gun safety, and take them to the range once and let them know and let them understand. And I give you an example. My son loves shooting. My daughter don't care for it, but she, as a child in this house, is going to learn how to shoot. Not saying she has to go to the range every time I go to the range, but she has to learn how to shoot and understand gun safety and what the effect of a round would do to a person, could possibly unalive a person. But she understands that she has to at least learn how to shoot, operate, and know the gun safeties behind putting a firearm in her hand. As far as my son, that's our time. We go to the range, we have a good time, but my daughter has no interest in it. And who am I to make her? But I want her to understand, as long as you're in my household, if anything happens, you know how to fire a firearm and do it in a safe manner. And so, and that's, as me as her father, that's when I am accountable to making sure she understands the operation of a firearm. What does that firearm do once that bullet comes out that firearm? The damage that bullet can do to another person coming out that firearm. And so that's when, as a father, I am accountable for her and what she knows and what she learns about firearms. And so, to my children, man, I am out. Um, Thank you guys for watching, man. This is another Daddy's Gun Talk. Hollow points to my children. Everybody be safe. May God bless each and every one of you. And it is your favorite gun owner checking out Jay Skilly. And man, y'all be good, be safe, and peace. Love you guys.